You hear out just vibration?
All right, we are going to get started. If everybody could please mute yourself, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Okay. Then they told us about their.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Keith Turgeon. I'm the league president here at Townsend Ashby Youth Baseball and Softball. Thank you all for joining. This is our next attempt. We've tried a couple times to do the parent meetings. Hit or miss. We tried them in person, so we didn't have the best luck there. So we're going to try doing it remotely, see if we can get some better attendance. Hopefully we can get all this information over to you. I do have a lot of material to share with you tonight, so hopefully I don't bore you too much. But I will do my best to get through it. If you have questions, please feel free to stop me and ask questions. I will ask for questions at certain times. I will stop at the end and ask for questions. You're welcome to hold them. You're welcome to ask in between, whatever works well for you. All right. So again, welcome everybody. This is our 2025 spring season about to get started. We're super excited. We hope you are too. And let's get rolling. So what are we trying to do here at TAYBS? We are trying to give all these kids a baseball and softball experience to give them a lifetime of memories. I know I still remember all my memories from when I played as a kid, and that's what we're trying to do to the year. So we're going to our goal is to do more than just baseball and softball, give them other things that they can do. So let's talk about some of these experiences that we're going to bring in. So unfortunately, the first one is going to have a big canceled on it because we just found out this, and I had this slide in here, and people already knew about this event, but I want to let everyone know. We every year we always do kickoff event over at Patriot Pizza. We found out just right before this call that they no longer are going to allow that. So we are working to find another solution to do the kickoff party, but unfortunately for the currently planned one, which we had on the 23rd, we're going to, or the 7th, whatever the date we had it scheduled, we're now going to bump that one. So moving on from the one that's canceled to something that's not. Our hit-a-thon, our pitcher day. This is one of our big events of the year. Everybody should have just received an email and your invitation to your child's 99 pledges page. This is where you go ahead and start raising funds for your child. If you haven't participated in our hit-a-thon before, we have been doing these since 2018. We've raised over $111,000 for the league. This event alone is what allowed us to do the Spalding project and to build all those new fields and build that nice new complex for the kids. So we really, really appreciate everyone who's done it in the past, and we really look forward to having everybody do it again this year. So what is it all about? So every team is going to get a slot during the day. Kids are going to get their team pictures, their individual pictures, and then they're going to do their hit-a-thon. Depending on what age group, it's going to be different things. It's going to be how far can they hit the ball? How far does it roll if they're younger? If they're older at the juniors level and above, it's actually a home run derby at the end of the day. It's a really fun day. Every kid's goal is to hit $75. If they hit that, they will get they will get a banana split gift certificate. We're not sure where yet. We used to have the ice cream factory as our huge supporter of this event. Unfortunately, they are no longer in business, so we are working on an alternate solution there. But we will have banana split gift certificates for the kids, regardless of where it is, but we will find a place for that. So the day goes on, you'll have that event. As the day progresses, it will end with the home run derby, followed by a pickup game where anybody can come and play. Adults, family members, grandparents, T-ballers. We have everybody. We mix them all up. We throw them in the field, and we have a lot of fun. After the pickup game, everybody comes up. We roll out the movie screen, and then we're going to have a movie right on Craven Field. This is a lot of fun. The last couple of years, we did the Sandlot. We might do the Sandlot again. We have yet to decide if that's what we're going to do, but it is a great time. The snack shack's running. We got popcorn. We got all that fun thing. So this is a really, really great day for the kids, and we hope you will take advantage of it. What else do we got going on? So this is the movie night, just a separate slide just for that. So we got a big screen. We bring it right out on the field. Like I said, popcorn, hot chocolate. It's a lot of fun. Memorial Day parade. So every year, Townsend holds a Memorial Day parade. We've been trying, so we did this for quite a long time. The last couple of years, we've had light attendance. We're hoping that this year we can get more kids to participate and walk with us on Sunday, May 25th. We'll be sending out invitations for that not so far in the future. If you are interested to have your kid walk with us on the league, we'd love to have that experience and show the kids out to the town. MLB pitch hit and run. Last year was the first year we did this. This is a Major League Baseball sponsored event. It's for both baseball and softball, ages 7 to 14. We will have this on June 1st over at Spalding. What it is kids will come into the field. They will participate in a pitching contest, a hitting contest, and a running contest, and they will get measured. The best kids will get prizes or they'll get certificates that day at the field, and those kids then gets put into a pool, and the best kids go compete to be at Fenway Park. Of those kids that go to Fenway Park, the best kids from there go on and participate at the Little League or the Babe Ruth World Series every year. It's a really great example. Here you have pictured is Kaylee Jones, one of our softball players last year. She participated in our local event. She won our local event. She went to Fenway Park and was the team champion at Fenway Park. So this isn't just a little event that probably never happen. We have kids that have actually gone all the way here. So it's a really, really cool event. 100% free. There's no cost to any kids or parents to participate in this. So ages 7 to 8, come on out. You will have to sign up. The link is there on the website. Just as a heads up, I will send out all of the slide decks with the live links in it, as well as the recording either later tonight or tomorrow. On the same day that we're going to do the MLB pitch hit and run, we're also going to do a cornhole tournament. This is brand new for us. We're not really sure what to expect yet, so we're hoping that it's a pretty good success. We're going to have an adult doubles tournament as well as a kids 12 and under singles tournament. For kids, it's $10 a player, and for adults, it's $50 per team. A little bit of prizes, and that's going to happen at the same time as the pitch hit and run. So there'll be lots of kids there. We're trying to figure out the snack shack will be going. Should be a lot of fun. If you're around and want to participate, we'd love to have you join. All right, our golf tournament. So this year, we're hoping to bring that back this year. We've had it for many, many years. Last year, we didn't get it in, but we are going to try to bring it in again this year. The previous one we had at the Overlook Country Club. We're going to work to try to get that done this year. It will likely be in August, but to be determined still. But stay tuned for more information on our golf tournament. TAYBS Night at the Ballpark. This is an event that we will be bringing back this year. So this is where the league goes out. It will be either at the Worcester Bravehearts or the Worcester Woosah. So one of the two places we will use. Okay. If you could remember to mute your phones when you come in, that would be appreciated. This is a really, really fun event. This one, the event that you see here on the pictures, this is when we went out to the Nashville Silver Knights. We had a bunch of players. They were able to go on the field. We had two of our players here actually threw out the first pitches. The kids got autographs. They got to go in the dugouts. They get to go on the field. It's a lot of fun for all the kids to be able to go to the big park and play. So we will bring it back. We will have more details on specifically when that game is soon. But looking forward to bringing that back this year and having a great experience for the kids. Baseball summer camp. I think we've done this now 6 or 7 years in a row. This is provided by Energy Athletics out of Worcester. It's a full week in July. It's a full day camp. 9 a.m. to 2:45. It's a really great experience for the kids. The league makes, well, I think I wrote 23 per camper here, but it's actually 35 now. They increased their donation amount per camper this year. So if you talk to the kids that have gone previously, they thought they had a great time. It is baseball focused. However, it is open to boys and girls. And if they want to bring softballs, they're welcome to do it. It is more focused on baseball. We are trying to find something similar for the softball side. We just haven't found it quite yet. Band concert and lawn party. This is a fun. So every Thursday throughout the summer, Townsend has a band concert, and each each week a different organization sponsors it. We are trying to bring this back this year as well. We bring it back. We are bringing games. We've got prizes. We got a dunk tank, food. Uh, how fast can you throw games? We got all sorts of baseball and softball themed events that are there. We've raised some good money there in the past, and the kids had a ton of fun. So stay tuned for more information on that, on the dates. We're logging that in now. And for those who don't know, our league has our own adult co-ed softball league. This is Saturdays in September and October. This is a co-ed all adult ages, 18 plus. We have people that are 18. We have people that are close to 70 playing in this league. All skill sets, good players, players that can barely run, players that can barely throw. It is a ton of fun. That we have a great time at this uh, during this league in the fall. If you want to spend some time and come on out, we'd love to have you join us. We have about 150 players every year, and we got room for more. So. All right, so let's start going through some of the league information. This is the general information about how we're going to run our league this year, some of the information that you'll need to know about the program and what will be helpful for you. First off, what equipment do you need? So I put a link here for our parent shopping list. This is a link that's on our website, which shows all of the different pieces of equipment that you'll need to buy for your child. Bats, gloves, helmets, the pants, black socks, black belt, the white pants, cleats. All boys, T-ball and up require athletic supporter / cup. Make sure you get all those. I get I get the questions a lot on bats, so I'm just going to run through them here really quick. For T-ball, it has to be just a T-ball stamped bat. For baseball rookies through baseball majors, it's going to be a USA bat stamp. It can't be USSA and it can't be BB Core. So if you bring those types of bats to the field, the umpires will throw them out and disqualify your at bat. So try not to do that. Both of those are actually safety concerns. That's why we don't allow those bats. Once you get to the big diamond and you're in the juniors and seniors program, then you are allowed to use BB Core. Once a child turns 14, they have to use it. But at 13 and once they turn 15, excuse me, they have to use it. At 13 and 14, they can use either USA Bat or BB Core. For softball, it's easy. It's just find one that says official fast pitch bat. You're good to go. Move on. So talk a little bit about the Boyd Family Fund. Here's a picture of Matt Boyd. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2021. He was a player in our league for many years. Phenomenal kid. He loved playing baseball. Just really, really great kid. He passed away from what's the specific cancer? All right, so they just list cancer in 2021. It was a short illness, but his family, in his memory, have decided to create sponsorships for families in need. So if you are a family that is struggling, you're having a hard time buying equipment, you're having a hard time paying your league fees, there's a link down here at the bottom. You can click and you can apply for one of the scholarships through that family, and they will, for the most part, help out anybody that's asked. So every year they take care of a couple of families and help out. So that's all in Matt's name, and we love that the family does that. All right, uniforms. So your child will receive a uniform based on the size you selected when you registered them. This is important to remember. Whatever you picked is what the kid's going to get. So a lot of times, sometimes parents will put in this size and the jersey is too tight. There's not much we can do about it. We can order another one. There is going to be a fee to get the other uniform ordered, and it's going to take a few weeks, if even possible, to get it in by the end of the season. We do allow kids to kind of trade them, but that's only with parents' permission. So if you tell your child, yes, if another kid has a shirt that fits better and you want to trade, go for it. But that has to be with your approval beforehand. So one thing I want to make a note on is currently our pants are white with black piping down the side. So we changed this a few years ago. We will not do this more than once every 5 years, change the pants. So this is our 4th season. So we have one more season of this color pants. After that, we will change it. More than likely, we will be going back to black starting in the 2027 season, but that means 2 more years of white pants. For all of you that have to clean those, I apologize. It is that is what we've got because we don't want to change it. We don't want to put families in the situation where they have to keep buying and replacing pants based on what we decide that year. We've seen previously last year some teams made a unilateral decision on their own to change the color of their team pants. This was a big issue last year, and we don't recommend it. We've told this all to the coaches that we don't recommend teams on their own make this decision for a whole bunch of other reasons that we won't get into, but just be aware that it's something that we very much do not recommend. All right, game changer, crossbar and scoreboard. So if you are in a division, so everybody should download the Crossbar app. It's available on both Apple and on Android. This is what's going to link to the TAYBS website, which is going to give you your schedule, your communications with your coaches, your team. Everything is on the Crossbar app. When you download Crossbar, it's going to be the exact same username and password that you use on the TAYBS website. So that will get you in, get you linked to all of the team there. If you are in the minors program or above, we recommend you download Game Changer. Every team, minors and above, the coaches are required to use Game Changer, and that's how they keep. Instead of using old-fashioned paper books, they use the Game Changer. What this does is it actually live broadcasts the game. It does it in a GameCast format, kind of like what you see down here on the right. You can actually turn on the auto and hear, Bobby hit a triple, and you can actually watch their player move around the field. Some coaches actually turn on the video feed. You can actually, this is where you could actually watch the game based on someone's camera. This is really, really cool for family members who can't attend games. Parents got to work, grandparents are out of town, they want to watch their grandkids. They can just download the app for free and watch the games live wherever they are. It's a very, very cool thing for no cost. So I highly recommend it. Just the last note on here is the scoreboard. All of our minors and above teams, they have to use the scoreboards at the field. It usually requires a parent helping out to keep the scoreboard up to date. If you are available and could help them, the coaches would really appreciate that. So it takes a village, so if you can, we'd appreciate it. All right, background checks. So I'm going to only specifically talk about a couple of different things here. We do recommend that all parents at least get their Cori checks done. And the reason we recommend that is, let's just say a coach is struggling. He's got some kids in the dugout that he needs help controlling them. It happens, especially at the younger levels, the rookies and those levels. So if you get yourself Cori cleared, then you can, if the coach asks, you can step on the field and help. If you are not Cori cleared, even if the coach is struggling, you are not allowed to step on the field. So he could be out there begging for help, but if you're not cleared, you can't step on the field with the kids. This isn't a TABS rule. This is both federal and state law. So it's really important. We do want to note one thing here, that even if you are Cori cleared, you can't just go on the field. You have to be asked by the coach first. So sometimes we've had parents say, I cleared, and they just step on the field. You can't do that. So just make sure you're in communications with the coach before you step on the field. And the last note, you don't have to be Cori cleared to step onto the field after a practice to assist with field cleanup efforts. So that's not required. It's only during practices and games. Calendar raffle. So when you registered your child, you basically paid a $50 what we call fundraising deposit. What that did is that basically bought you 10 calendar raffle tickets. You are going to get these from your coach probably the first week or two of practices. And when you get these, it's up to you. You have a couple of different options. You can sell them at $5 a piece. If you sell them, that you make $50, that means you keep that $50. You already paid for it. So this is basically a way to wipe that $50 off of you, so you don't have to worry about it. Quick question just came in is how long do Corey checks last? So once you're in our system, we will automatically rerun your Corey every year automatically until you tell us to stop. So as long as you're in the system once, you shouldn't have to keep doing it. Back to the calendar raffles, the other option that people have, that people can, a lot of parents do, is they just write their own names on all 10 tickets and drop them off at the snack shack. We have a lot of parents that just win their money back or more. So it's a pretty cool way to. I know when I was coaching, one of my parents, I think he won like 6 years in a row, at least enough to cover his $50. So it's definitely a way to get your money back as well. If you don't receive those tickets, you need to reach out before the end of April and let us know, and we'll help get them for you. If you need to turn them in by June 30th. If you don't, they're considered losses. So we won't be able to do anything. You don't get refunded the $50 for not turning them in. So keep that in mind. If you're not going to sell them, that's fine. Put your name on it and turn them in. That's the best thing I can recommend. And then we do have additional packets if you want to sell more. We always get people every year that said, "Hey, I got a whole bunch of people that would love to buy them." They're more than welcome to. Just let us know, and we'll get those to you. All right, playoff schedules. So for both the MAC Baseball League and the NCMS Softball League, everything is in sync this year. Regular season is April 28th through June 8th, and then playoffs are June 9th through June 20th. I tell you this now because this is very important if you are in those programs. Vacations have been a problem in the past. Please plan accordingly. End of year school events always tend to show up on those weeks. Let us know as soon as you know. That way we can try to put a blackout in for those. One very important thing, the regional leagues will not make playoff exceptions for an AAU or club travel ball team. So be very careful if you're doing travel ball that, oh, we've got a tournament that week or that week. They will not move those games. So just be very cautious during that window if you have other commitments, because it's hard. We got a very short window to get the playoff win in. So All-Stars, Cal Ripken tournament. So both MAC and NCMS have All-Stars. This is effectively rookies and up. So we have two different All-Star programs. One is through MAC and NCMS. This is your recreational All-Star games. This is a single game, part of the recreational program, and the players are selected by the head coach. These are not necessarily the kids that have the most talent. It could be the player who's shown most improvement. It could be a player who's put in the most effort. It could be the kid who one day dressed in the most silly clothes. Whatever the coach decides and works with the kids to make that criteria, that's up to them. We do ask that the coach let everybody know what his criteria was and why he picked every individual player, especially if they pick their own child. So we really try to make sure that is known to the parents. But keep in mind, this is not the bigger All-Star tournament. Before I get to that, though, so NCMS, the softball All-Star games will be Sunday, June 22nd in Templeton. The MAC leagues will happen on the day before, Saturday, June 21st. We will be hosting both the rookies and the Majors A division, both at Craven Field, one at 3, one at 5. So moving on to the All-Star tournament, this is a very different. So Townsend Ashby and Pepperell, we merged to make what's called the North Middlesex All-Star team. This is what you hear. This is the tournament trail that goes all the way to the World Series. So the tournament that you see on TV, that's what this tournament is. So this year we are looking to field an 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, and 12U team. This is an event that the kids must try out for, and they will be selected based on talent for this particular tournament. So if you follow this link here when you send it out, you'll see all of the dates for the tournament. keep that in mind because there is a district tournament. If you win at districts, you go on to states. If you win at states, you go on to regionals. If you win at regionals, you go on to the World Series. Um, we have had teams go all the way up to regionals many times. So make sure you look at the schedule, and before you decide to sign up for that tournament, make sure you can commit to actually doing the tournament. Um, so unfortunately for softball, there is an equivalent tournament, but we don't participate in, neither do many of the other local towns. For softball, this tournament is not just required to be the town rec programs, it's also opened up to travel ball. So town rec programs tend to get demolished if they go into that tournament. So most of the town rec programs don't participate in the softball tournament, just because it's extremely difficult to compete against a travel ball team. All right, so let's talk a little bit about player playing time. So for T-balls and rookies, all players are going to have equal playing time. Players are going to be rotated to all positions during the games. You shouldn't have to worry about anything about, hey, this kid's playing more than mine. Starting in minors, and as we move up, things start to change. Minors, they're generally about the same playing time, though preference is going to be given to the kids putting in most effort. Um, the rule is that kids only have to play for 6 defensive outs. That's 2 innings. So if your kids only played for 2 innings, they technically met the rule. We try to avoid this in minors and let them be a little bit more balanced, but that is up to the coaches. And they are going to try to rotate the kids around the field as much as possible. Moving on to majors, it's going to start favoring the kids that are putting in the most effort and showing up and participating in practices. This is not necessarily who's got the most talent. This is who's trying the hardest. If your kid never shows up for practice and all of a sudden they're wondering why they're only getting their 2 innings, that's probably why. Um, and then as we keep moving down, juniors and seniors, those are very competitive programs. And the kids it is going to be based on talent, how much playing time kids get. There is still the 6 out rule, so they will have some time in the field, but it will very much be and put the teams in a position to win. And that's for juniors and seniors. That's the big diamond, or small diamond still for softball. All right, a little about field access and our security cameras. We have cameras all over our fields, both Craven and Spalding. They're on the fields, they're in the snack shacks, they're in the sheds. The reason I say that is don't let your kids go to the field and change. They're not in the porta potties if you need to do that, but they're everywhere else. Uh, just keep that in mind. Let the kids change at home. That way we don't have to worry about that the cameras are on. Um, I'm not going to go into too much detail here. There's a lot of stuff here you can read on your own. Batting cage. We have a batting cage over at Craven Field. This is available for you to use anytime you want that there's not an existing practice or game going on. There's no cost to use it. Feel free to just go open the gate and use it. I do want to remind parents, it's not a sandbox. It's not a place that you can put your little kids to go play while the big kids are on the field. So try to avoid that. And the only thing we ask is that if kids are in the batting cage during a game, there's no hitting because it does distract the players during a game. And then finally, when you're done with the batting cage, just close the door. If you don't, it ends up being a bathroom for the geese rather. So we really want to avoid that. All right. If you decide to bring your kids to practice at the fields, which we love it when you do, all we ask is you don't hit balls into the fences. This damages the fences pretty easily, and typically you don't see it until we come back later and look at the damages on it. So Craven Field is actually pretty damaged right now from this happening. So please just don't hit into the fences to avoid that problem. Weather policy. So we don't cancel games more than 2 hours in advance. So if you hear at 7 in the morning and pour all day, don't start messaging the league. Don't start messaging the coaches. Is the game on? Is the game on? Is the game on? They will not cancel it. They will not cancel a 6 o'clock game until at least 4 p.m. This is New England, and the weather changes on a dime. Just because it says there's a 100% chance of raining at 12, it could be sunny and bright and shine lights at 4 o'clock, and it happens all the time. So we don't cancel anything more than 2 hours in advance. If you are in the minors division and above, we do play games in light to moderate rain. This is very common. So just be aware that even if it's light rain, moderate rain even, the game will still go on. Only when the field becomes truly unsafe will they cancel the game. If there is a lightning strike, it's a 15-minute delay. We ask that let the coaches and the umpires make that decision. If you see something, don't start yelling at the coaches and umpires. Just let them make the decision. It's what their job is. There's another important note here. Those delays for lightning are not a cancellation. It's a delay. So when the umpire resumes the game, if there's not enough players, the team will forfeit. So we've had in the past where lightning parents took off, left with their kids, game resumed 15 minutes later, and they didn't have enough players, the team had to forfeit. So try to make sure you just sit in your car and wait for the 15 minutes. They'll let everybody know if they're going to be a further delay or if they're going to cancel it, usually after that. Registration windows. So we run 3 seasons here at TAYBS. We run a spring season, a summer season, a fall youth, and a fall adult season. I'm not going to read each one of these, but this information is out here for you. So when you start, it seems like we're always sending messages saying registrations are open, registrations are open. It's because they almost kind of are. Once spring season starts, summer season, we're already starting to plan for it. Once summer starts, we're already starting to plan for the fall season. And then once fall goes, we start at the very long spring season starting process. We do recommend, we do start very early, September 1st for our spring. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Very specifically, what people don't realize is we have payment plans available if you register in September. So you can take that $100, $150, $200 fee and break it up over 3, 4, 5, 6 months if you register back in September. It's a great way to save money. And it also guarantees placement and uniforms and all that other fun stuff. Early placement policy. We want to make sure everyone is aware of this. So if everybody by default gets put into their age appropriate division, if you believe your child is ready for a higher level of play, and this is not uncommon, and it's very normal, we ask that we have a process for that. We ask that you talk to your coach. Your coach will put the previous year's coach, they will put a recommendation in for your child to move up to the higher division. We can't guarantee that they will move to that higher division, and you won't know until very late in the process until we do rosters because we're waiting. It is a very difficult numbers game to figure out what we have available, and we try to figure it out based on the kids that want to move up, based on the kids that have signed up. Can we make more teams? Can we not make more teams? It's a big game of numbers. So if you expected your child to move up and they don't move up, you know, that's kind of part of the process. There aren't refunds. You can't come back and say that. We do. That's why the whole policy is here. Feel free to go read it if you want to move your child up. All right, player rostering and team assignments. So I want to talk about this one for just a little bit. So we do have an official policy here. This is how we build out team rosters. We do take special requests for our T-ball and rookie divisions, and we try our absolute best to honor those. We do a pretty good job of honoring most T-ball and rookie requests, but once you get to minors, it's now competitive, and we do one of two things. We either do a coaches conference or a player draft, and those are detailed in this link here about how we do that. So once these are set, we very rarely make roster changes. We work with our coaches. The coaches have to approve rosters before we do that. The league does not unilaterally make roster decisions on minors and above. It's the coaches who make the roster decisions and in conjunction with the league. So I want to specifically call out two things because there was two things that are a little unique this year. And not that they're unique, but I want to call them out because always questions, specifically in the baseball minors program. Um, we spent the, the coaches spent months working on these rosters. Um, there's three coaches. They spent a lot of time working together to figure out the best teams possible. They worked with me. We went through everything, but at the end of the day, the three coaches determined that they were okay and they agreed with the teams that were decided. Believe me, a lot of effort went into it. Um, Now, are they completely balanced? I'm not sure. I can't tell you myself, but we just want you to know everybody has their own perceptions of what is balanced. This is what we were able to accomplish for this one. The other one I want to call out is the softball majors division. This one is unbalanced, and it wasn't the original intent, and that's not how it was originally done. It was a very difficult decision. We had to make some changes for reasons we will not get into. And because of those changes, it became imbalanced. Without completely destroying some of the kids' locations, we left it as is. The coaches on both teams, while obviously not great about it, they were okay with it in the end of the day, and they'll make sure the kids have a good season, have a lot of fun still. Um, but just know that's not typically the goal for the way it looks this year, but it's where we ended up. So, all right, moving on. Snack Shack. So everybody that registered, everybody, unless you did the buyout, you're required to work 5.5 hours per season in one of our open slots. Typically, it's the Snack Shack. We will be sending out the list of all the available slots as soon as the game schedules are released, and we have that. You don't have to work at your own kids' game. You can, but you don't have to. Um, so the important thing to note, if you don't show up for your scheduled shift, you will get charged a fee. If you fail to complete your required hours, you will get charged a fee. So make sure that you don't do that. It is a policy that you agreed to when you signed up, so keep that in mind. If you are unable to work your shift, we ask that you talk to other parents, the coaches, and swap your shift for one another. Don't send the league a message at the last minute saying, I got nothing, I'm not going to make it. All it does is just it puts everybody in a bad position. It's up to whoever is responsible for a shift to figure out another person to cover it. It doesn't have to be, it can be any adult. It can be a grandparent. It can be anybody that wants to cover the shift for you. Um, All right, some information on medical. Our coaches are going to do the absolute best they can to accommodate your players with medical conditions. It's up to you to talk to the coach and work with them. The more information they have, the better. So specifically, if they have an inhaler, make sure you tell the coach. If you have an EpiPen, make sure you tell the coach. Tell them if the kids know how to use these things. Tell them if they need to help with the kid. Um, so all of our coaches, they have basic medical kits with them for traveling to away games. Both Spalding and Craven, they have full medical supplies and replacement for all the coaches' equipment. If you use any of the medical equipment that's in the snack shack, let our safety officer, Jessica Fellows, know. That way she can get it refilled. We tend to see people just take stuff and then when someone needs it, it's empty because we didn't know that it was used up. So just keep us in the loop and let us know. Quick update on COVID-19. Thankfully, at this time, all restrictions have been lifted at our field. It is important to note that every town can set their own rules. So if you go to another town and they require masks, then everybody has to comply or risk a team forfeit. There aren't any exceptions to that. Today, nobody has that rule. So don't worry that all of a sudden that you got to go to another town right now. But in the event that that ever happens, and it hasn't since COVID ended, just something to be aware of. Um, the other just note, if players want to wear masks, they are allowed to, they are welcome to. It's not against the rules. So we have kids sometimes that wear masks for any number of reasons. That's not a problem. Um, if a child does test positive for COVID, they cannot participate in team practice or game until they've had a negative test outcome. So that's just a negative test. It can be that day. There's no waiting period, none of that stuff. It's just negative test and we're good to go. All right. I am definitely not going to read this, but I want to have it here for you. So TABS this year, we are had to get compliant with the state policy for concussions. Now, typically you hear about this as a football thing, and not necessarily baseball, but it does happen. So we do have a policy here. Coaches will be looking out for kids that get fall down, hit their heads. If they think that a child might have a concussion, they're going to put them on a 24-hour hold, and they will have to come off the field for at least 24 hours. Uh, they can return with a doctor's note or at the parent's discretion. We do not want to see the note. We just need the parent to tell us we're good to go. So it's up to the parent to make the decision, not us. So after the 24 hours, when you think it's right, we recommend that if the child is allowed to go back to school, they're probably allowed to go back to playing sports. But as a parent, that's your decision to make, and we'll work as best we can with you. Just a quick heads up, at our snack shack, this is the emergency response kit that we have in there. If there's an emergency and you know how to use any of this stuff, feel free to go grab it and go help. So our coaches have been told about all this information. They've got trained on how to use these different things. But if you are a nurse, a doctor, medical professional, EMS, feel free to help. We do have AEDs at both of our fields. So there is one inside the Spalding Snack Shack and there is one inside the Craven Snack Shack. If there's an emergency, either a coach or a parent who knows how to use them will grab it. These are self-teaching. You basically just turn them on. They start talking to you and tell you exactly what to do. We're not saying as a parent you need to do that, but it is available. It is for any emergencies that happen. It could be a kid needs it. It could be a spectator that needs it, but it is there and we are very happy to have these. A big one. So we have a no animal or dog policy at all of our fields, as well as almost all of the travel fields that we go to have the exact same policy. You cannot bring a dog at any of these fields. This includes emotional support animals. The only dogs that are allowed to go to these fields are ones that are doing a service act for a blind, deaf, or other person who has a physical disability. It has to be trained. It has to be licensed through the state. We do make the only exceptions we do make is for animals that are provided by the Veterans Administration. So if you please make sure you tell your family members, please make sure you tell them everybody leave your dogs at home. Don't bring them to our fields. So it's very important. All right. Post practice and game cleanup. Once a practice is done, the game is done, all sorts of things have to happen. We ask that parents help out with this. So trash has to be picked up from the dugout. Trash in the spectators areas must be picked up, including under the bleachers. Trash barrels have to be emptied. Base paths, home plate, pitcher's mounds have to be raked. Infield need to be dragged. The coaches spend a ton of time working with your kids. Help them out at the end. There's nothing more defeating to a coach who's just spent hours and hours helping your child to watch practice end and parents grab their kids and bolt out of the field as fast as they can without helping. Help. It takes a village to keep these things going. All of our coaches are volunteers. All of our board are volunteers. So if you can spend the 5 minutes and help at the end, it's really, really appreciated. All right. I want to talk a little bit about player commitment. So spring season is our competitive season, and it is a team sport. Everybody needs to do their part. All players are expected to attend all practices. All players are expected to attend all games. We only have 9 or 10 kids on a lot of teams this year. So it's very important that you kids participate. If your child participates in another league in addition to ours, we can't ask our coaches to make exceptions for your child. So, oh, my kid is pitching for this other program, they can't pitch for you. That is extremely difficult for a volunteer rec coach to be able to handle with very limited players. So please don't ask that of your coaches. And one thing that we hear a lot is, oh, my kid's in travel ball, they don't need to practice with the town program. This kills the program. So all the kids that are not in travel ball, that means 4 or 5 kids show up to the field, and there's not enough kids to do practice. So it's important if you sign up for the league to participate. So we really ask that you commit to what you signed up for. Umpires. So I want to hit this one up because this is really important. We lost a lot of umpires because of poor behavior from our parents. It's extremely, extremely important that parents do not say anything to the umpires. It doesn't matter if it's a bad call. So I got a couple notes here. Like if the umpire made a bad call, it's final. It doesn't matter if you have a video showing that the umpire was 100% wrong. The call is the call. If it's a junior umpire and they made a bad call, it's still a final call. If the umpire didn't know the rule and made the call is the call. That's what it is. When I had my kids playing, what I told all of my players, like if I take the ball as a pitcher and I roll it to the catcher and the umpire calls it a strike, what is it? They're like, it's a ball. No, the umpire called a strike. It's a strike. And that's what I ingrained in those kids' head. So don't expect the umpires to be perfect. They are just moms and dads and kids that are doing that work. So give them a break. Keep in mind, they can hear you in the bleachers very, very easily. So if you're sitting in the stands behind them, oh, well, I'm behind the fence between the umpire and you is not a blocking wall. They can hear every single word you say. So keep that in mind as what you're saying. And the last thing I just want to note is every umpire has their own strike zone, and they tend to change it. Depending on the division they're umpiring, depending on the pitcher, depending on the player, they want the kids to swing the bat. It doesn't matter if they might be calling a strike that's from their toes to the tip of their forehead, and you have to adjust. The kids have to adjust for it. We hope for consistency, but it's just not always there. Keep in mind, this is a rec league, and I know it's very hard for better players when the umpires are calling strikes that are huge strike zones, but they are going to try to adjust for this being a town-based rec program. So just keep that in mind when you're talking about the umpires and yelling, "That's not a strike. That's not a strike," or "It is a strike," and just let the umpires do their job. Just sit back and watch your kids and have a good time watching them play. On that same note, parent, don't coach. So when you're there, enjoy the time watching your kids play the ball. It's rec. This is a rec program. Nobody's scouting. There's no scouts. No one's getting scholarships. None of that stuff is happening here. So please don't yell at your coach from the stands. Let the coaches, if they hear you yelling and the coach is trying to tell them one thing and you're telling them something different from the stands, it's brutal for the kids. And it's very difficult for the coaches to try to get the kids to focus when parents chirping the whole time. Step up, step back, move your folder. It happens all the time. Try to be quiet and let the kids play the game. I found this and I loved this. A mom is making breakfast for a teenage boy as he walks in. Mom, don't burn the eggs. Careful, careful. Don't mess up. Don't let them burn. Be careful, careful. Mom snaps. I know what to do. I've cooked eggs before. I know, Mom. I was just trying to show you what it's like when I'm playing. And that's exactly what the kids feel when you're behind that fence at the backstop, snapping at them when they're at bat. Try not to do it. Let them play the game. Just let them have fun. All right. Few other reminders at the fields: no smoking, no vaping, no chewing tobacco anywhere, not in the parking lot, the woods, the vehicles, anywhere. Don't go in your car. Get off the property if you're going to smoke. No alcohol. This includes don't put it in a Yeti, no red cups, solo cups. Put it in all these different things. Don't bring alcohol to the fields. If you're suspected of drinking, you're going to get tossed. Parents can't go in the dugout. So stay out of the dugout. We tend to see parents come in and just hang out with their kids sometimes. You're not allowed in the dugout when there's a game of practice going on. A big one that we see is parents bring food into the dugouts. Other than gum and sunflower seeds, there is no food in the dugouts. So I've had parents actually bring a full meal into a dugout once. Like that's that's not the time to feed them meals. So you feed them beforehand or afterwards, but not during. Um, all right. Some general league updates. All right. So what is TAYBS? So we are a private 501c3 nonprofit. We are not funded in any way from Townsend or Ashby or any other government entity. We are 100% volunteer. Nobody is paid here. We do it because we love it. Our board right now has, out of the few of us that are left, only two board members actually have kids in the league. The rest of us do it because we love being part of the program. Um, we are not a government organization. There is no open meeting law, Freedom of Information Act, any of those types of things against our board. However, if you want to know any information, just ask. We're more than happy to provide you details. Um, but we are an independent youth organization, which means we're not bound to Little League, Babe Ruth, USA Baseball, USA Softball, or any of those governing bodies. We are completely independent. Um, that means if you don't like something, you come to our board. You can't go run to Babe Ruth and say, hey, this league is doing this. Doesn't matter. We don't go by Babe Ruth. So if you have a problem, bring it up with our board and we'll help address your issue. This is our current board. As you can see, there are an extreme amount of open positions. If you look at this here, there is two people that have family members that are still playing in the league. Everybody else, their kids have aged out. So we are all just here to help be here for the kids. So we're all of us have coached, all of us have been part of the league for years. My son's now almost 20, and he's been playing since he was 3 in the league. So we have lots of positions. We'd love for help. So if you want to help out the league, let us know. We could really use a hand for a lot of different things. Um, so who do you contact for help? Here's all the contact information for the different people that you could, for anything you might need help with. Quick update on Spalding. So everybody knows, we did our big Spalding renovation a couple of years ago. We're still working on this year. This year, our plan is to add picnic tables, bleachers, and some more fencing on field 2, which is the one down here in the corner. Next year, we're going to try to add scoreboards, some more fencing on field 1. We're going to hope to get rid of that shed that's sitting over here on field 2. And in the future, we really want to get batting cages and lights over at the field. It's kind of a pipe dream, but we really want to get there at some point, hopefully not so far in the future. Just a little idea of where we stand. So this is kind of showing us over the past almost a little over 10 years now. For baseball this year, we're at 152 kids. We're right about the same as we've been for the past 2 years. On the softball side, we're a little bit down from where we were last year. We're at 63 from about 77 the year before. But we're hoping that we can stay for some consistency and maybe even get some more numbers going up forward as we keep moving. All right, this is our finances. So I think it's important to show this so everyone has an idea of what the league actually costs to run. So over here, you're going to see all of our different operating expenses and what we pay for everything. So to run this league is about $75,000 a year. What we bring in for player registrations, which is the fees that you pay as a parent, is about 31 grand, which leaves about a $40,000 deficit. So that's not a great starting point. But how do we make up for it? We have sponsors, we have fundraising, and events to try to help make up that gap. So here's all the different sponsors and stuff that we do every year. So when you see us asking for, hey, we're help with the hit-a-thon, help with this event, help with these things, it's because we're trying to make up that 40 grand and then have money left over. So with all the stuff we're planning on doing this year, we're expecting to bring in an additional 56 grand minus the 42 grand. That gives us about 11 grand to do capital projects in the league. So we always, whatever we make, we always put it back into the program. So normally we're sitting at about 30. We expected about 30 to 40 grand this year. Based on a few things, we're down significantly this year, but we're working on trying to get that adjusted. I note these things on the side. So our average fee to parents is $153. This is what on average everybody pays across the league. What it costs us for every player is $361. So just keep that in mind when you think about what the costs are for the program. We're trying to keep this. We didn't change our pricing this year. We're trying to avoid that at all costs. We want to try to keep this as low as possible for all of our parents and use this options to make up this difference. All right. So last year, what did we do? So last year we did almost $44,000 in capital improvements. We replaced the mound at Craven. We did infield repairs. We added picnic tables. We replaced the audio system. Spalding, we added tons of fencing. We did a parking area. We did work on the scoreboards. We seeded the field. We even did upgrades inside the snack shack. So that was all last year. So what are we trying to do this year? Our plan is for about $27,000 worth of upgrades. So as you saw in the previous slide, we've only got about 11,290. So we're hoping to make this up with some fundraising. What do we want to do this year? We're going to do we already did the $10,000 worth of tree removal over at Craven Field. This is, if you've ever played at Craven Field, it gets very dark very early. This should help a little. This got rid of all the trees that are hanging over the fences. So we're hoping it helps a little bit. We are going to be doing a coach dedication this year and dedicating one of the dugouts to a former coach. For those who don't know, Tom Lamoureux is a coach who coached for us for 45 years. He finally retired at 80 years old, and we couldn't imagine how we would ever have done. Like, losing Tom is such a huge loss for the league. He was such a great coach I mean, some of you parents probably had him as a coach when you were kids in the league. He's been around forever. Great guy. So we're going to do a dedication for him. We're going to try to get the dugouts memorialized or dedicated for all of his years of service. Over at the Spalding side, our plans for this year, we're going to add picnic tables. We're going to replace the busted wooden bleachers. We're going to add windscreen around field 2. We're going to fix all the fence cap. We're going to try to add some permanent foul lines in, and we're going to try to continue with some of the tree removal projects. Some of that stuff might or might not get done based on how much we can fix this number over here. In the future, these are some of the things that we want to do. We're at Craven, we need to replace the snack shack. It's on its last leg. The sheds have to be replaced. They're not filling. We don't have enough room. We want to get the parking lot better. We want to add lights, Spalding Field, cages, lights. We want to be able to put wireless internet access for people and do live game cams. If you have an idea, let us know. We'd love to add it to the list and see if we can get it in there. We're hugely supportive of parents giving us ideas. We do tons of stuff based on that. So this year, these are all of our sponsors for 2025. We brought in close to $30,000 this year. It's down a little bit from last year, but we definitely recommend, if you have any projects that you want to get done at your home, call some of these companies. Let them know that you saw them as a sponsor here at TAYBS. It goes a long way for them coming back and sponsoring the league next year when they know that their money is actually being spent and people are appreciative of the work of that donation. We do this every year. We call this TAYBS Give Thanks. Any uniformed military or public safety personnel that attends a game at Craven or Spalding will get a free meal on us. They just need to go to the snack shack in uniform and let them know that you're looking for the meal, and they'll give you a meal, hot dog, chips, and drink, no cost. So it's our little way of saying thank you. Show your TAYBS pride. We have a Squad Locker store. It is available. If you go to our main website, you'll be able to click that link on the site, and there's all sorts of different TAYBS branded merchandise you can purchase. Support the league. It's a great way to give the kids something, give them different items and stuff to show your colors. We've got 4 different social media. We are mostly on Facebook. We do some Instagram, some Twitter, and we post all of our coaches meetings and parents meetings and all of our anything we have for videos we post on our YouTube channel. And that is it. That is the extent of I got it done in an hour, so I'm happy about that. I hope this information was helpful. I'm here to answer questions. I'll stay as long as anybody needs to answer any questions. Feel free to come off mute. Just ask your question. But if you don't have any questions and don't want to stick around, thank you very much. We look forward to a great season, and we'll see you at the field. I'm open for questions. Okay. Hold on. When will I know what team my son is on? Everybody other than juniors baseball will be should already have their team done. Their teams are already posted for everybody except for juniors baseball. Juniors baseball starts a month after all the youth programs. We're trying to get 2 teams, so we're trying to we're trying to get that done as soon as possible. We're either going to have 1 really big team or 2 small teams. Let's see. Next question. We were told to get black pants for our team. That is not correct. So if anybody told you to get black pants, they are not following the rules. Does the uniform supplied include the pants? No, it only includes the shirt, the jersey, the pants, socks, and belt are on the parents. If you look back in the slide, you will find the parent shopping list link, and it's on our TAYBS website. Feel free to go out there. It gives you all the details. Let's see. The oldest girls softball team coach said black pants. Coach is wrong, so I will talk to the coach about that. For T-ball, does it matter if it has the black stripe? No, the black stripe does not matter. White pants, any division, white pants are just fine. Black stripe is preferred, but not necessarily required. Are we able to use the tractor for the infield at Craven? No. The tractor is only available at Spalding. We are trying to figure out a solution to be able to get the tractor out, but we don't have a solution for that just yet. For the first practice, is it okay if they do not have all the equipment? Yes. So really the only thing you need for the first practice is a bat and a glove. And even just a glove at an absolute minimum. So I'm sure another kid will let someone borrow a bat. Schedule for T-ball hasn't come out yet. Do they start this week? No. All of the games, including T-ball, start on April 27th or 28th, right after school vacation. So the month of April is basically for practices. However, T-ball doesn't do practices in advance of the season. They do a combination, half practice, half game on every one of their individual nights. You're welcome. Other questions? Feel free to type in the chat or come off mute and just say it. Either one is fine. All right. Give it a last chat. All right. Well, we are going to call it. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're going to have a great season. If you think of any questions that you think of after this, feel free to email me. My email is all over the place. If you don't hear from me from email, feel free to text me. I am doing my best to get through all the emails, but it is a volunteer position and I'm trying my best. So I will get it as soon as I can. But if you don't hear from me, text me. It'll be quicker. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you at the field. Take care.